I saved the 3 brothers of the Marquis' household. 2 of them are fighting to marry me, the coldest one. Yet he spent 3 years mourning at an empty grave for me, a living person. But on my first day in the mansion, my life-saving deed was falsely claimed by the cousin. She took my reward silver and was hailed as a saint by the whole household. If I reveal the token, I'll just be seen as a wild girl trying to trade a favor for marriage. I only wanted to get paid and leave. Who knew the 4th young master would offer himself in marriage? The 5th young master begged to wed me that very night. The Marquis went even further. He sent both his own younger brothers straight out of the capital. Then he turned around to collect the debt from 3 years ago. And all of this began at Qinglu Crossing. That day, the Chow bandits had tied up 2 brocade-clad youths. They even kicked over the roast goose I'd bought for 30 coppers. When I grabbed that bamboo pole, I didn't yet know that this one strike wouldn't just topple the Chow bandits. It would overturn the entire Marquis' household.
Cough, cough.
Look here, 2 more fat lambs. This jade pendant alone could buy us half a year's worth of wine. Pity this one's a sickly runt. Hope he doesn't breathe his last before we get where we're going. Who's the blind fool? Huh? Mercy, great lady, spare me.
My goose, who's going to pay for it? It's the shadow venom.
May I ask the lady's honored name?
Just passing through. The way you 2 are dressed, it's clear you come from a nest of wealth and privilege. I don't expect either of you to repay this life-saving grace by offering yourselves in marriage. Come back later with this to redeem it. Surely you understand how this works.
Miss.
Listen carefully. He's been struck by the shadow venom. If he doesn't get the antidote within 12 hours, not even the gods could save him. Stay right here and don't move. If they find you first, just say it was a passing 8-faced fellow who dealt with the bandits. Don't mention anything else. Save yourself the trouble.
Aang, you finally made it. Was the journey hard on you?
Oh, what's so hard about it? Just ran into a few troublemakers on the road. Delayed me for half a day. Sis, your belly's even bigger than you said in your letter. It's twins.
Nonsense. Just one like you. What happened to you on the road? Did anyone give you trouble?
No.
Sis, sit down first.
Your big belly makes me nervous.
Aang, I asked you to come here to find you a stable marriage match. This Marquis manor has strict rules. You need to rein in your temperament. Don't make a fool of yourself.
I know. I'll just stay in your courtyard, eat your food, drink your drinks, and promise not to stir up a hornet's nest. Ha 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 ha. The old madam is in high spirits today. She rewarded Miss Zhou with another ruby headdress set. Of course, she's their lifesaver. The 4th and 5th young masters are blessed with great fortune. If not for Miss Zhou, they might have perished at the hands of those bandits. I heard Miss Zhou, a delicate woman, dragged both young masters out of the water and even gave them medicine. Truly a bodhisattva. Who?
It's Song Wanying, a cousin from the Marquis manor. A few days ago, on her way to the capital, she somehow saved the 4th and 5th young masters. Now she's the apple of the old madam's eye.
Who did she save, and how?
They say she encountered bandits on the road. She hid the 2 young masters in the reed, then ran off to get help. It was truly a close call.
This capital city is really interesting. Sui Zai. Song Wanying, Sui Zai.
The water was freezing cold that day, and the bandits had knives. I was terrified too, but when I thought of the 4th and 5th young masters still on the boat, I don't know how, but I found the strength.
Good child, you've been through so much. Yunheng is still ill. Once he recovers, he must kowtow to you in person.
Aang, don't just eat. Go offer tea to the old madam.
Oh.
So this is the younger sister second sister-in-law brought from Lingnan. She looks spirited enough, but her manners could certainly use some work.
Your elder sister often speaks of you. Did you read any books in Lingnan? What skills do you have?
I can read the wind, I know the waterways, and I can tie knots.
What kind of skills are those? Our sister Ju can compose poetry. She can play the zither, and she's skilled in the healing arts. Drawn to the light. That butterfly took me 3 whole days to paint.
Old madam, the kite is stuck in the tree. I'll help them get it down.
You can't even reach it with a ladder. You can.
No ladder needed. Huh. Here, step on me to climb up.
That won't do.
You're afraid of heights.
I'm not. Phew. Got it. I got it. Har 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 har.
This girl has a wild, quick-witted streak. Good, good. Someone reward her with a pair of gold bracelets.
The fourth young master, Yunheng, is the most willful. Stay back when you see him later. Don't talk back to him.
Sister, don't worry.
Well, so this is the wild girl's second sister-in-law brought back from Lingnan. Grandmother must be losing her mind, making me compete with some mud-footed peasant. Dodge! Let's see if you dare cause trouble in the North Garden again, wild girl. Ah!
Who's crying now?
You freeloading wild brat. How dare you throw me?
It's the insidious poison of the canal bandits. Remnants still linger. Had the antidote been administered even half an hour later that day, the fourth young master would have been in grave danger. Fortunately, this humble daughter had a spare detoxifying pill on her. She quickly dissolved it in water and had him take it.
It was you. You caused my son's poisoning to flare up. Someone, seize her.
Lady Li, my sister was merely sparring. It was the fourth young master who charged at her first.
You still dare to argue? A sister from a fallen household like yours has the nerve to run wild in our Marquis' residence? If not for our Lady Zhou, my son would have been killed by you already.
I thought all the young masters of the Marquis' house were as they boasted, formidable in martial skill. I didn't expect them to be so fragile. That is my fault. I admit it. However, Lady Li, that poison lurking in your son's chest, it doesn't look like it was contracted just today.
Lady Li, fourth young master, the Marquis sends word. The fourth young master's conduct at the training ground was unbecoming, bringing shame upon the Marquis' house. The fourth young master is to proceed to the ancestral hall immediately and kneel for 1 hour. Should he ask the reason, add another hour.
He hasn't shown up, but his authority certainly carries weight. The Marquis is a sensible man.
How could she do that? You were clearly the one who saved him. That Zhou Wanying shamelessly took all the credit for herself. No, I'll go request an audience with the old madam tomorrow and set this matter straight.
Sister, sit down. If you go now and talk about witnesses, evidence, and the goldfish class. But Zhou Wanying did give them medicine after they woke up. She claims she saved them. Her story is a mix of truth and lies. You can't win that argument.
Aianime is right. Zhou Wanying is clever with her words. She only mentioned tending to them and giving medicine. Everyone just assumed it was all her doing. If you go and expose her now, people will only say you sisters are fighting over credit.
So we just let it go? Then how much reward silver did she take from the Marquis' manor? That silver should have been Aianing's.
We definitely need to get that reward silver back. But what's the rush? It's not like I'm going hungry. Huh? Sis, I'm going out to buy some late-night snacks. That apricot cheese iced drink and those sizzling griddle cakes from the south side of town. I've been craving them for days.
Look at the hour. How can a young lady like you leave the manor?
It's fine. Back in Lingnan, when I patrolled the mountains, I'd sleep in the trees in the middle of the night. Don't worry, I'll just hop over the wall. I'll be back soon. Why?
The Marquis's external injuries healed long ago, but this sickness of the heart, sigh. 3 years ago, while handling a case in Lingnan, his life was saved by a junior patrol officer. Later, there was a mountain fire. That young one didn't make it out. After the Marquis returned from Lingnan, he could no longer bear anyone mentioning those 2 words, Lingnan. Every year around that time, the Marquis goes to the outskirts of the city to pay his respect.
Lingnan, junior patrol officer, mountain fire. Isn't that talking about me?
Mississippi, that day at the pleasure boat. It was you who saved me.
You recognize this, right? Hold on to it. This is my token of proof. I won't beat around the bush with you. How do you plan to repay this kindness?
Mississippi, if you don't find me objectionable, I would like to ask for your hand in marriage.
You want to marry me?
Yes, I know this is very abrupt, but I will treat you well. Marry me, and you can rightfully stay in the Marquis' residence and be with your sister.
Fine, then go ask your family. If they agree, we'll make do together.
I'll go right away. Brother, I wish to ask for the hand of second sister-in-law's younger sister, Song Wanying.
Your reason?
She is my lifesaver.
So you are doing this to repay a debt of gratitude?
Not entirely. I truly find her forthright and spirited, living life on her own terms. Being with her is very...
If you truly hold her in high regard, then you should not be seeking this marriage now. She has just entered the residence. Her position is already delicate. If word of her saving your life just spreads and you rush to propose, outsiders will not call you deeply devoted. They will only say she leverages her deed to marry up, clinging to the Marquis' residence, a man who cannot even convince his own mother, yet expects his brother to use his authority to suppress the matter. Peyunji, that is not devotion, that is incompetence.
Brother, is it because of that benefactor who died in Lingnan that you cannot bear to see others as a happy pair?
Go to the ancestral hall, kneel, and reflect on your actions.
My lord, Zhou Wani's false claim of gratitude has been verified. She did not rescue anyone from the river pirates. It was only after the fourth and fifth young masters were returned to the residence that she used a sedative to make them wake earlier. She deliberately spoke ambiguously, leading everyone to believe she was the lifesaver.
Hand her over to the old madam for judgment.
Additionally, Miss Song Wanying was injured today in the North Garden after knocking the fourth young master off his horse.
Is she hurt?
In reply, my lord, no. The fourth young master suffered a relapse of an old poison.
Convey my order. From now on, give Song Wanying 2 taels of silver each month. Have her go to the North Garden and test the fourth young master's martial skills. If the fourth young master gets beaten, unless bones are broken, he is not permitted to complain. Understood.
Why are you here again? Don't think that just because the Marquis backs you, I'm afraid of you. Let me tell you, sooner or later I'll become a master and beat you to a pulp. No, ouch!
A beating every day helps you remember. Otherwise, how could I earn the 2 taels of silver the Marquis gave me?
Don't hit the face.
Hitting the face is the only way you'll remember. Get up and run 2 more laps. Mingliang.
Lady Zhou, do you admit your guilt?
Old madam, this servant admits her guilt. This servant indeed did not rescue the 2 young masters from the river bandits. This servant merely, after the 2 young masters were brought back, used a calming remedy to help them wake. It was the household staff who spread the rumor about this servant. This servant, in a moment of greed, had no evidence.
You dared to deceive me. I thought you had saved my son and sent you tonics every day.
Madam Li, this servant was also out of options. If this servant had not come to the Marquis' residence, the clan would have married this servant off to a 50-year-old widower. This servant only wished for a place to settle.
Aiang, you speak. How do you want this matter handled?
She prepared medicine for the 2 young masters before I did, and indeed looked after them for several days. Her merits and faults cancel each other out, but she should not have taken those reward coins. Return the reward money she took to me, and we'll call it even.
Song Wanying, what gives you the right to look down on me? You and I are the same, both living under someone else's roof, both trying to use the Marquis' residence to secure a good marriage.
A hard life is no excuse to harm others, living under someone else's roof, nor is it a reason to reach out and take what belongs to others. You have hands and feet, and you can write and keep accounts. If you truly don't wish to marry, there are so many shops in the capital. Go apply for a position as a female bookkeeper. You could earn 2 taels of silver a month. Why insist on crying for others to see? What does that gain you?
You.
Don't you me. My silver, now. Hurry up, run. The apricot cottage ice drinks in the south of the city only sells 30 bowls a day. Run. Any later and they'll be gone. Run. No way. Behind the curtain. Whoa. Isn't this the brother Pei I saved 3 years ago in Lingnan? Let's go, let's go, let's go.
My lord, will you still go pay your respects?
No. There's no one in that grave.
Elder brother, Song Wanying is also my lifesaver. Why is fifth brother allowed to ask for her hand, but I cannot? I also want to repay her with my devotion.
Fourth brother, don't make things worse. My feelings for Miss Song are sincere.
Your feelings are sincere? So mine are false then? She hits me every day, but after hitting me, she still gives me bruise ointment. Those noble ladies only laugh when they see me. Who would dare lay a single finger on me? Only she dared.
You've just become addicted to being hit, haven't you? Mind your own business.
Pei Yunhing, you will go study at the White Deer Academy. Depart tomorrow. Pei Yunji, Qingzhou Prefecture is in need of a clerk for practical training. Pei Yunji, Qingzhou Prefecture is in need of a clerk for practical training. Depart the day after tomorrow. Song Xiaoying, you're not dead. Right under my nose, you ate my pastries, beat up my younger brother, and still ran faster than a rabbit. Grandmother, your grandson has a request.
What matter makes you perform such a grand gesture?
While in danger in Lingnan, I suffered from a cold affliction. I was saved by a patrolling officer disguised as a man. That person was Song Wanying.
What did you say? Away. Back then, his maternal uncle.
To protect him, added his name to the list of the deceased. Your grandson has searched for her for 3 years. I thought she was no longer in this world. Now she is right here in the residence. I cannot simply turn a blind eye. I wish to marry her.
You do realize she comes from humble origins, and her temperament is rather wild. To be the Marchioness, I fear.
Whether she is suitable or not is for me to decide. That freezing night back then, I was delirious and barely conscious. I once shared a bed with her, holding each other for warmth. At the time, I did not know she was a woman. Now that I do, I cannot pretend nothing happened. I wish to marry her, not merely to repay a debt of gratitude.
Have you spoken of this to Ing? Heh. So it's just your own wishful thinking. Off you go. Grandmother understands.
The Marquis requests Miss Song to come to the listening snow hall. The Marquis says, "It means exactly what we think it means."
My lord, I will admit my fault first. Disguising myself as a man 3 years ago was a matter of expediency. The death register was to evade the remnants of the mountain bandits. If you wish to punish me, I accept it. But this matter has nothing to do with my uncle. Please do not involve him.
Sit, eat first. Regarding your uncle's matter, it can be considered a grave issue or a trivial one. If you become the Marchioness, naturally, no one will dare to dredge up old accounts.
You are scheming against me.
Not scheming, collecting a debt. You saved my life back then, but also compromised my innocence. That night, I was delirious and held on to you, refusing to let go. It was you who said yourself, "We're both men. No need to fuss over it." Now that you're not a man, this debt, it's time to settle it. Song Wanying, will you marry me?
He's good-looking, powerful and influential, willing to fill a whole table with food for me. If I marry him, my sister can stay in the Marquis' manor with peace of mind. Fine, let's get married then.
Are you doing this willingly?
Yeah, you're quite handsome. Sounds like I won't be getting the short end of the stick.
Song Wanying, you really know how to leave a man hanging.
Song Wanying, I schemed for over half a year and still lost in the end. Do you think I'm utterly ridiculous?
You lost because you kept trying to take what belongs to others to change your fate. If you thought sooner about earning it yourself, you might already be a head shopkeeper by now.
Haha. Men in the capital are all cunning, especially the good-looking ones. Aang's mind. 10 of hers aren't enough for them to toy with. If you ever regret it, just come back to Lingnan. Your uncle will find you 8 or 10 live-in sons-in-law, taking turns doting on you in all sorts of ways. Ha 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 ha. Aang, have you thought this through? The Marquis has strict rules, and hundreds of eyes in the manor will be watching you. Mother isn't here, and you've never learned those rules. I'm afraid you'll be wronged.
Sis, you're overthinking it. If I can live with it, I'll stay. If I can't, I'll just run. You don't have to learn to act like a noble lady of the capital.
However you lived before, you can keep living that way after marrying me. Song Wanying, do you have feelings for me?
I'm only 17. I haven't even had my fill of good food yet. How would I understand all that romance stuff? But what? I feel happy whenever I see you, and I want to kiss you. If you must ask whether I love you, then ask me again in 10 years.
Fine. I'll wait 10 years for you.
Ha ha ha.
I can't do it.
Aang is the granddaughter-in-law I personally chose.
Ha ha ha.
Song Wanying, the Silent Palace, good afternoon. Finally, it's over. More exhausting than chasing bandits back then.
Are you afraid?
Not afraid. Anyway, you said I could live the same way as before.
I actually saw that at the time.
Weren't you delirious with fever back then?
Not completely delirious. I remember you cursing while applying medicine to my wounds.
Don't look at me like that. It makes me uncomfortable.
Then how do you want me to look at you?
First, let me put my seal on you. From now on, you're mine.
A seal isn't enough. It needs an imprint.
What? Did you learn rules instead of kung fu at the academy?
I was showing you respect.
Come here. Let me see if your kung fu has improved.
Ha! Now that's the wild girl I know.
Sister.
This waist is so slender.
How does it compare to that one today? Good.
Oh. You're the prettiest.
From now on, don't watch anyone else perform sword dances.
The Marquis is so petty.
I am petty. Who told you to save me back then, and then take so long to come claim me? I waited 3 years for you, and searched for you for another 3.
I didn't know back then that saving someone would make you so arrogant.